My name is Travis Klein with Human Head Records. We've been here 13 years, and I've been in this location since 2020. Our previous spot was about half the size, and yeah, we're a reflection of what's in and around New York City. I started off in indie rock and classic rock that kind of world. It's not what I listen to ever anymore. You know, when we started, I've said this often, that I didn't know who Herbie Hancock was. I love Herbie Hancock, you know, and just took on what New York had to offer, and was fortunate enough to pay the rent every month, you know, and that was really the goal. We started a knowledge-based business with no knowledge, and it worked out. You know, New York's a beautiful place, has a rich history, and we just grinded till we figured out how to actually do this thing. You never know who you're going to meet here. It's a true meeting place, and I feel very grateful for that. You know, I'm from the middle of the country where everybody drives in their car bubbles and goes to their place that all the like-minded people congregate, and then they go home to their, you know, and this is, you really can meet people here in a positive sense, and the conversation is initially engaging. What do I gravitate to the most? I would say the Brazilian stuff, the Latin stuff, the New York salsa's great, and generally like funk, and I'm just looking around at the wall. Funk and rare groove stuff is what I end up playing the most on the main. It's, you know, kind of like atmospherically positive, you know, and, you know, we're trying to be in here having a good time. And I also have, through the education of this thing, a lot of appreciation for, you know, late 70s, early 80s soul that like is more popular in London and Brazil than it is here. Like, so that's been a really amazing journey, education, appreciation, and it's amazing how so many of these artists were on major labels, Mercury, Capitol, but there's nowhere to find them on contemporary American radio, neither on Spotify or what's one of these in your car things. Yeah, something like this. You know, like internet radio, any of that stuff. You know, you'll have 6 outlaw country channels, you know, but like maybe you have a Parliament Funkadelic, which probably isn't there, which is like blasphemous that there's nothing there, because like everything associated would be incredible, and it's, you know, there's an amazing part of, you know, American history that nobody in America has access to, and a lot of those records are here in New York, you know, and so it's great to be able to have them, see them come through naturally from people's houses, and to be able to kind of celebrate them in a way, you know. Yeah, I mean, Blackbird's action. This record, I think we've got $20 on this, but you know, it's probably not a perfect copy, otherwise it probably would be for more. And that, like, when we started this 13 years ago, that was $2 all day, you know, like all day. And you know, who did I learn about this through? You know, Brazilians and Brits. Well, you asked me for 5 of my favorite records, and I think I have a pretty sweet selection here. And you asked me about things that I also listen to. I think these are all very representative of things that I listen to contemporarily. First one's a classic, Bobby Caldwell, holding it down for all of us here. He's got some real soul. Love this record. Love the fact that nobody knew who he was for the longest time. It's an amazing conversation piece in the shop, and yeah.
How did you originally find out about him? What and why is it so important?
Well, this is one that I probably learned about the appreciation from like Brazilians and Europeans, and just the deep passion for it. And then just in conversation, learned about, you know, how popular of an American cookout record it was, to how prevalent the discovery that it was a white guy was to families around the country. And so it's just always a great coming together conversation. And yeah, and it's a beautiful record.
Left your mark in a distant past, but somehow it's all gone now. Good things can never last. You are down for the good time, and you spent your change.
Another one is another classic in the similar realm, Clear, Intimate Connection. Another one, probably the first one that I really gravitated towards, that learned about from my initial trips to Brazil, and really love pretty much this entire record all the way through. If I wanted a favorite track, maybe Intimate Connection's my favorite, but they're all great. Love this record. Orquesta Harlow, El Exigente. Probably the main thing that I want to bring up about this is the gold label. It's got the record's very cool. It's got, you know, like your classic New York salsa sound with some psych elements, but there's a later cloud label that this record has, and I've gotten multiple sealed copies, and they're all this way. The cloud label is a common second label from Fania, and the cloud label is actually tracks from this record and a previous record of his randomly interspliced through the titles. Nobody's ever been able to tell me how this came about and why this happened. It's not, I've never found any information about it anywhere. Maybe somebody will see this video and be able to inform us in the comments or some point. This has a relatively iconic cover of her below her waist, but the original that is incredibly hard to find has this blue bag over the top of it, and everybody tore it off because they wanted to see the cover. So actually I had to have a friend fly to the country that this was in to pick it up in the airport, because the guy refused to ship it anywhere. And so the only way I could complete the transaction was to send my friend to fly for it. That was a topic of conversation multiple times, yes. But yeah, it's a forever all-timer, and a thank you, Louis, for that one.
Me sinto contente, me sinto muito contente, me sinto completamente contente, posso dizer completamente contente.
This last one just happens to be here today. It's one of the hardest records to find and one of my favorites. It's Espresso Ritmico by Ricardo Eddie Martinez. It's what I commonly refer to it as is a Cuban Harlem River Drive. Harlem River Drive is an Eddie Palmieri record. It's very popular, kind of crossover appeal, you know, like funky, and this is through and through an absolute banger, and one of my favorite records to turn people on, a record that I never have, and even though I do have one at home, I still get excited just to have one in the store because I like looking at it so much. Something like this will come across my desk from a dealer, you know, like I've, as we've talked about, I've had a lot of collaborative-based purchasing, so I bought a lot of high-end records from other dealers, you know, like this never came through on a walk-in you know, and actually, forgive me, I know how I bought this record. Co-worker who works here, Brooklyn, he has a record store in Orlando called Uncle Tony's Donut Shop, and I went into his store and he turned me on to this record and I was blown away by it. And he's got the best sound system in there, so everything sounds amazing anyway. But I was hooked, and a buddy of mine, Carnegie, always looks for copies of these and the 45s of it on eBay, and so it's always been something that's been kind of known amongst like my local group of friends and homies, and whenever we get one in, it's always kind of celebrated and played as much as possible before somebody takes it. Bob Mays is a like iconic Detroit legendary dealer. Went to his house one time later in his dealing days, and with a couple of coworkers, and he had two heels up on stacks of LPs, watching the Tigers game, chain smoking, and there's like underneath the kitchen table, like from floor to the table were records. It was just like shit everywhere. We have the John Coltrane answer on the McDonald's French fry thing there, you know, like, and he like, it was from a Coltrane completist, and the amazing part was that he actually felt the need to scratch off the correct answer. It was what instrument was jazz legend John Coltrane best known for playing? And it's like, dude, you're a diehard John Coltrane fan. You know the answer. You don't have to scratch it off, bro.
Always hurt the one you love.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.